Hey everybody, Pat here from West Corners Custom Cycles. Welcome back to the Underground Garage. Today I got a little experiment going on here. This is the 1994 Yamaha Virago chopper build I did. You can check it out on the channel. There's lots of videos on it. If you get a chance, please do. What's going on with this bike right now is it starts and runs okay. But once it gets warmed up, after it runs for a couple of minutes, the RPMs pick up, and they pick up to about 2 grand. And when I first start it, it pops and sputters a little bit. A lot of times that's indication that I got dirty carburetors. Now, any of you who've ever worked on these Yamaha Viragos and taken the carburetors off of them know what a joy that is. You got to take these pods off on both sides. The carburetors, you got to get them loose off the manifolds and take them, you know, sometimes it's easier to take the tank off, but it's a big job. Even after you get that done, there's 2 carburetors for the 2 cylinders. You got to tear them down. They're both CV carburetors, rebuild them, put them back together, and then a lot of times after that you have to go through and resync them, and it's just a big job. So I'm going to try a little experiment today. Old motorcycle secret. I'm going to take a bunch of seafoam and dump it in the gas of this thing, and I'm going to run it. Let it all get down through the carburetors. I'm going to let it soak for 24 hours in there. I'm going to come out and restart it 24 hours from now, and we're going to see if it cures the problem, if the idle comes down to where it is. Right now, I've got the idle screw all backed all the way out to where it's not even touching the tab that adjusts it, and it's still running at 2 grand once it warms up. So we're going to see if we can get this taken care of without doing all the work of pulling the carbs off and rebuilding them. If not, we'll have to do that. But 9 times out of 10, this works. So maybe it might help one of you guys out there that is having the same problem and doesn't want to tear their carburetors down and off and apart and all that. So let's get to this video. I got a can of seafoam right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the bike. I'm going to let it warm up. Now, as you can see, it's idling pretty decent right now. But after this sits here and runs for about 2-3 minutes, those RPMs are going to pick right on up, and I'll bring the camera over here and show you so you can see the difference in the RPMs. Well, right now it's running a little over 1.5, but as this warms up, it's going to climb up to probably over 2 grand. All right, I'll let this warm up and come back. You don't want to watch that. Okay, I'm back. Getting a little more warmed up. You can hear that popping. That's part of the problem. I'll bring you in here so you can see a little bit better. We're running at about 2,000 RPMs. Now the fuel light is on this because I got about 1/3 of a tank of gas in this. You get the idea. It's popping and it's running on high RPMs. Okay, everybody, I'm back. What I'm going to do is, like I said, I got about 1/3 of a tank in here. That's probably less than a whole gallon. They recommend you use 1 ounce of seafoam per gallon of gas. They say if the deposits are heavier, double it, use 2 ounces. I'm actually going to dump 8 ounces of this, half this bottle, in with what little gas I have, and then I'm going to go run it around the neighborhood until I get all the gas worked in down through the carburetor. It'll probably start smoking out the back. Then I'm going to bring it back here, get you guys back on it, show you what it's doing, and then we're going to shut it off. We're going to let it sit for 24 hours and come back and see if it cured our problem. All right. open. There we go. Oh, hang on, that's a brand new paint job. I'm getting a funnel. All right, that's half the bottle. Now, start and run it. All right, I'm gonna go get my helmet, let this thing run for a second, take it out for a ride. Back. Everybody, I'm going to take this up the road, take it for a good ride, probably 10-15 minutes, make sure that the slow bowls get emptied out and replaced with the gas and the seat foam in it. See you in a bit. Okay, boys and girls, I'm gonna bring you over here. You gotta check this out. I ran it down the road. It ran out of gas. So I flipped it over to reserve. So I'm sure that the float bowls were empty in it. Flipped it over to reserve, got the bike started again. Went out, rode it around for about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Now this thing's idling at over $3 grand. So we're gonna park it. We're going to let it sit. We're going to let it see if it does anything, and we're going to go from there. But I want to bring you over here and show you this. You can see the RPMs on this thing is ridiculous. And hey, if anybody out there has an idea why this thing's screaming so high, by all means, comment. But look at this. Okay, and like I said, there's a little smoke coming out of there when I first started it, but not much. All right. Well, there it is. I'm going to park it. Let it sit. It's about noon here today on Sunday. I'm going to come back tomorrow and fire this thing back up, ride it around a little more. Then I'm going to go down to the gas station and I'm going to fill the tank up the rest of the way with good fresh gas. Then I'm going to take it out, rip it around, run it some more, and we're going to see if this does anything to help it out. If not, I guess I'm tearing carbs apart. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. All right, here we are back again next day. I want to start this thing up and I want to show you from a stone cold start. See, we're back at about 1,200 RPMs. Should probably be even a little less than that. Well, watch, I'll let this thing run for a minute or two. We'll be back up 2,000, 3,000 RPMs before long here. control screw on this backed all the way off. So this thing should just be like on its lowest idle, that it's not even touching on the tab that adjusts it. Okay, we're almost up around $2,000 already. Now it's possible that the amount of seafoam I have in there is throwing off, you know, the way it's running. It might be acting a little lean, and that might be why it's running higher RPMs, but I don't think that's the reason. I'm going to go take this down the street. I got a gas station 2 blocks away. I'm going to fill this tank with fresh gas and put a couple miles on it and see if it doesn't clear it out and bring these RPMs back down. If not, I got to go through the carburetors. Alright, thanks for checking it out. I'll be back in a bit. Like I said, right now, I can show you. We're already getting close to 2,000. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go get some gas in this and ride it around for a little bit. Okay, everybody, I'm back with this Yamaha Virago. Today, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out why this thing is idling so high. It's either got to be one of two things. It's going to be either a vacuum leak of sort, be it on a vacuum line, or maybe on the carburetor boot. I hear these Viragos are famous for it. I've never had an issue with it. And I have 2 now, and I had one back in '85. So, and if it's not a vacuum leak that I can physically see or find, sometimes you can take propane and you take a propane torch, don't light it, turn it on so the gas comes out, start running it around your carburetors when the bike is running, and your RPM should change when you get wherever the leak is and it starts sucking propane instead of air. So I'm going to get these pods, there's one on each side. I'm going to pull them off so I can see all the vacuum and everything going on with the, you know, around the carburetors. And like I said, I'll have access if I have to get in there with the propane to find out what's up. But if it's a vacuum leak, we'll get it fixed. If not, well, then I'm going to have to take the dive and pull these carburetors and go through them. And if I do that, who knows, I might even go a single carburetor system, but we'll get to that bridge when we cross it. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, everybody, I wanted to get in here one last time before I totally condemn these carburetors and have to go through all the trouble of pulling them out of there, pulling them apart, throwing them in the ultrasonic, getting them all back together and adjusted up and back in there. This Virago, if anybody's ever done it that's out there watching this, you know how fun that is. So I knew that there was another possibility before I condemned the carburetors. There might be a vacuum leak. So as you can see, I took the cover off here and I got in here, got looking through everything in here, made sure all the vacuum was where it should be. There was no issues. And then I came around the other side. As you can see, I got the air cleaner off it. And that actually hooks on right here. And there's a couple of screws that hold it on. But when I got in this side, I found what the problem was. This clamp right here was actually missing. It wasn't on there. All around this boot, unregulated air was getting in there and leaking in. So that was what was making it run on a high RPM and idle high. I actually found this clamp. I'll have to show you where over here. It was stuck down in here. Now how it got there, I don't know, because it had to be taken off intentionally. Must have been done by the person who owned it before me. Because there was no way. This has to be unscrewed with a Phillips head screwdriver. This boot has to be taken off. and then that has to be taken off the boot. And this boot was back on there, and that clamp was down, stuck on the side of the motor there. So I don't know why it's there, how it got there, or anything else, but I found it, got it back to where it should be. Cranked that down. I put this all back together. I put the air cleaner back on it up there, fired this thing up, and now it runs the way it should. Let me back out here. I'm gonna get this air cleaner back on here, get everything back together quick. I'll come back, fire this up, and you can see the way it's idling now. All right, be back in a second. All right, everybody, I'm back. We're all back together. Take you around and show you. These all back. Got this side all back together. Now I want you to see how this thing runs and idles. Come back around here. Readjust her a little bit. Now you can see she's idling right around 1,000 like she should. That's exactly what I wanted. It's amazing how just a little vacuum leak like that can make your bike run so bad. Not that it was really running bad, but sorry, dropped the phone for a second. Not that it was really running that horrible, but now it's idling like it should. It's not going to idle up. It's not going to burn a hole in my piston. So, there you go, people. She's all set and ready to go. Alright. Thanks for hanging around for the video. Okay, everybody, there you go. We got it fixed. She's idling like she should be. Starting up really nice. Still got a really nice idle to it. It's ready to 1,000. That's where I want it. I guess in the book they call for 1,100 or 12, but I like it at 1,000. All right, I'm gonna take this right up and down the road, show you how it runs. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, it's amazing how one little thing like that can make your bike run so bad. But actually it wasn't running horrible, but the high RPMs wasn't cool. But You know, it could be something simple like that the next time something's going wrong with your bike. So take a little initiative, look it over. You may be able to solve it yourself. It's Labor Day weekend. Everybody, I hope y'all have a good time. Go out and enjoy the weekend with your family. And as always, be good to each other, ride safe, live life behind bars. Peace. Catch y'all later.